What is good, YouTube? This is Daniel, Veterans with Anxiety here, and we are back with another video today, guys. And check it out. Today, yes, today is the moment you have all been waiting for. This is going to be the part 2 episode of how I got clean, alright? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet already. Leave comments down below, hit the post notification bell, that way you get notified of every single video as soon as they drop. And also, check out the links down in the description, join the Discord, all that good stuff. Alright guys, let's do it! So where we left off during the part 1 episode was when my mom was taking me back to my dad's house, driving me back to my dad's house, after we had been turned away over at the VA hospital, at the VA Suboxone clinic, you know, while I'm in full-blown withdrawal. And after her giving me 20 bucks to go pick up with, because that was the point of me going to my dad's house, was so I can get into my own car and meet my guy, she only gave me 20 bucks, and like I said in the previous video, it wasn't going to be enough, and so I came up with the bright idea. I'm gonna go inside my dad's house, grab my brand new MacBook Pro, the one that I used to run this YouTube channel with, and I'm gonna take that thing and pawn it so that way I have a little bit of extra money to go ahead and pick up with. So after grabbing my MacBook, I run outside and I get back into my car, and when I get into my car, I give Gordo a call right away. The reason why is because I was gonna pick up that $20 first, because there was no way, you know, in the state that I was in, that I was going to be able to just go into the pawn shop and actually like be able to wait in line and sit still and interact with anybody at the pawn shop. So I needed to get well before I could even pawn this laptop. And so that's exactly what I did. I called Gordo, I set up a $20 deal. He tells me to go meet him somewhere at some street corner. That's what we did. We met up and I got that $20 sack. My withdrawals were so severe at this point that even just driving my car was an extremely difficult and painful task. Like, I'm talking about, I couldn't even turn the steering wheel without it being extra painful. It literally took an hour and a half of me parked, waiting inside of my all black car in the Vegas heat, you know what I mean, just baking and sweating all nasty, crusty like, in withdrawal before the dude finally shows up. And like I said, I get that $20 sack. I get back into my car and I reach underneath the passenger front seat where I always kept this one roll of foil, and you know, I pull out a piece of foil, and of course I put that $20 piece down on the foil, and I get to smoking that entire piece. I get rid of that entire thing, right? It got me well. It even got me a little bit high, but I knew that it still wasn't gonna be enough, and that I basically needed to hurry up and get to the pawn shop quickly so that way I could get, you know, the rest of the money that I needed and be able to hit up the guys in time before they closed. I remember it like it was yesterday. The pawn shop that I had went to was called Max Pawn, alright? And it's off of Rancho and Washington out here in Las Vegas. I walk inside and, you know, I get up into the counter, front counter, and one of the employees, they ask me, hey, you know, how could I help you today? I tell them, you know, I'm here to pawn my MacBook Pro. And so of course they asked me the old, how much do you want for it, you know, and honest to God, like, why, I don't even know why they ask you that. They literally never give you anywhere near what you ask for. Maybe if you tell them like 25 cents, they'll do it, you know what I mean? They end up offering me $280, and for a brand new MacBook Pro, okay? That was a complete slap in the face, of course. But, you know, unfortunately, in the situation that I was in, I was determined. I needed that money, I needed it to pick up, I needed it to help me get through this week so I could get to my Suboxone appointment. So I went ahead, I pawned the laptop, and I walk out of that pawn shop with $280 cash. Funny side note, guys, whenever they were inspecting my laptop to like see if it was still gonna be working, well, whenever the lady opened up the lid, like opens up the laptop, I used to do all of my like cocaine lines on the keyboard area, like where the trackpad is and all that, right? I'd break it all up, I'd bust out lines, and I'd, you know what I mean? I'd take care of it right then and there on the laptop. And so whenever they were looking at it, they had to literally wipe it off, and they did it like right in front of me, right? Exactly right in front of me. I don't even know if the lady knew what it was, exactly what it was, but yeah, that happened. Now, this is where the situation becomes quite sticky, alright? Because I end up calling a different dealer this time, who was a girl that I knew and had gone through, you know, in the past before. And I had also hit up Gordo, okay? I called both of them simultaneously so that way I could meet whoever the hell came first, whoever the hell wanted to come fastest, right? This ended up really screwing me over because they each wanted to meet about 10 minutes away from each other, about a 10-minute drive each away from each other. And what ended up happening was I first drive to and start waiting at the place that Gordo wanted to meet at, okay? Well, the girl dealer calls me and I pick up my phone and I'm like, hello? And she's like, hey, I'm almost there. I'm gonna be there in like 2 minutes. And I'm just like, oh shit. All right, I'll be right there. She gets there and she calls me, right? And she says, hey, I'm here. Where are you at? And I'm just like, I'll be right there. I'm literally 2 minutes down the road. Not even that far away. And I'm literally speeding my ass all the way down there. She calls me back literally 1 minute later. And she's just like, I'm not waiting around for you. I'm not gonna be waiting around here. And she literally dips away. She dips off. She goes away. I get there and I give her a call and I'm just like, yo, where are you at? Like, where did you go? Because literally, she left about 30 seconds ago. It literally had to have been 30 seconds ago because of the timing of when I had just last talked to her and the time it took me to pull in. She left 30 seconds ago. She's all like, I was already there, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, I'm like, well, come back. Like, can you come back? And so she's like, all right, I'll be back. Give me like 10 minutes. And so I'm just like, fuck, man. I end up driving all the way back to where Gordo wanted to meet me, where the other dude wanted to meet at, because I'm thinking, you know, like, there's no way she's gonna come back from me. Like, there's no way she's actually gonna turn around and be back here within 10 minutes. Sure as fuck, 10 minutes later, she gives me a call. I literally end up having to drive 100 miles down the freeway to get back to where she was supposed to be at. And when I got there, I give her a call because I didn't see the car. And I'm like, hey, where are you? And she's like, I'm about to be there. I'm pulling up in like 2 seconds, right? And then my guy starts to call. Gordo, he's now calling my phone. So now I'm in this position to where I might not really be able to pick up from any of them because I just screwed over both of them because I'm not in any of the correct spots at the correct times whenever we, you know, had all agreed to this. And guess what, guys? To top it all off, my car was out of gas. And so I literally had to pull over, go to a gas station, throw in like 10 bucks in gas. And like, I was in such a hurry, right, that I didn't even pump the full $10. Like, I pumped like 8 bucks and then the thing starts to slow down towards the end. I didn't even want to wait that long. I put it back in. Screw it, I lost 2 bucks, drove off, and started headed back to Gordo. As soon as I hopped in the car and left that gas station, Gordo's calling me already, and he's like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And I'm like, yo, hold on a second, I'm gonna be right there. I'm like 2 seconds right down the street. I'm right there at the intersection, you know. I'm like giving him the whole runaround, right? Because I'm having to seriously drive like 110 miles an hour to get back there on the freeway. And so that's exactly what I did. I'm going 110 down the freeway, okay? And I'm coming up close to this exit to where I gotta get off at. And as I'm going up this exit ramp, I'm going so fast that I cannot slow down in time. And so what ends up happening is that I couldn't slow down and I end up blowing past the freaking line and going into the middle of the intersection. Thank God nobody was driving, like there was no traffic intersecting, you know, across, because I guarantee you, if I would have hit somebody that day, either myself or somebody else would have guaranteed died. Quickly, I put my car back into reverse and I reverse back to the line that I'm supposed to be behind, and finally that green light turns green and I make the right turn, and that's right where, you know, Gordo's trying to meet at. It's literally right off the freeway. Of course, the driver was already there. That's why he was calling me like that. And when I get there, I park next to the driver like always. I hop out of my car, I get into his car, and guess what, dude? Bro only has 2 dimes. So I end up buying the last of what he had. I had bought everything out. He had nothing left. Literally 2 dimes, okay? Obviously, I'm already like starting to freak out again because it's starting to feel like I'm back at square one. I don't have enough. So luckily it ended up working out to where I was still able to end up meeting that girl, the one that I had just drove away from, you know, back and forth 3 or 4 times already now. And so I ended up meeting her. I pick up a gram from her, and thankfully I was good to go after that. Then it was off to the next mission, guys, because you see, unfortunately, I did not just use heroin. I also used cocaine. And I was the kind of person, or the type of addict, that I couldn't have the one without the other. I had to have both of them. I started the process of picking that up, and that was through a different person, so I give that guy a call. Unfortunately, he's out, right? He doesn't have anything. He was more like a middleman anyways, and so what ended up happening was just I went and picked him up, and we went to go to his plug, and we got it from him, and then, you know, I kind of just busted him off a little piece, and I kept the majority, and then that's how we did it. By the time we were done with everything, it's about 10 o'clock at night. And by this time, I was totally ready to call it a night. I had gotten everything I needed. I had completed every mission that I was on that day. And so I was ready to go back home, you know, get some rest. I had been withdrawing all crazy. I just wanted to get some sleep and rest. That's not really what ended up happening, because I kind of stayed up and used that entire gram, or most of it realistically, and most of that cocaine that night. So I was kind of up all night just doing that. I wake up that next morning and I'm feeling a little bit groggy, but I wake up and everything like that, and the very first thing that I do is, of course, go into the bathroom. I went ahead and I used, you know, the rest of what I had from the day prior. I used everything else. I got rid of it. And if you remember from the part 1 video, essentially, you know, the doctor that I had seen at this Suboxone clinic basically given me permission to go ahead and use as long as I just didn't do a lot. Well, that ended up being the case for the next 4 days. I asked my mom if she could give me some money, and she agreed, but again, it was only $20. So I got the 20 bucks in hand, I give my dude a call, and I drive over and meet him, and I pick up that 20. Surprisingly, I was actually able to make that last me pretty much the whole entire day. I didn't really end up running out until it was like 6 o'clock p.m. that night. I remember smoking a little bit of weed that night, and I was actually able to get a decent amount of sleep, or, you know, was able to fall asleep and stay asleep for at least 2 or 3 hours before I'm woken up by the most severe withdrawal. At this point, it's about 5:30 in the morning that next day. I asked my mom for some more money, but this time she just flat out told me no, that she wasn't gonna be giving me any more. She was done, no more. So I get to thinking, and I'm wondering how in the hell I'm gonna get well for the day. Well, I had an idea, you see, because I still had a room over at my dad's house. This room was pretty much exactly how I left it from when I still lived in there, using and all that. And so I knew pretty much for sure that if I were to go in there and basically get down on my hands and knees, AKA, it's called carpet surfing. I would get down on my hands and knees and literally go through the carpet and literally try to find any type of crumb, little piece of the black tar that had gotten, you know, caught and stuck in the carpet from many times before. So I hop in my car, and that is exactly what I do. Once I get there and I get inside the room and I really begin to search, you know, I get down on my hands and knees and I'm surfing through the carpet, I actually found something pretty decent actually, and it was a piece of some black tar that was left over from whenever I had, you know, been living in there, and it was actually still wrapped up in the plastic that it comes packaged in. I smoked the whole thing, and surprisingly it got me pretty high. You know, it was about 3-4 good hits. I was starting to notice now that since I had really been going in and out of withdrawal, only able to use a certain amount, you know what I mean, very little amounts for a pretty prolonged period of time, that my tolerance is starting to go way down, and that these smaller doses are actually starting to hit me a lot stronger now. But unfortunately, you know, every time I used, it still reset that whole withdrawal timeline, the whole withdrawal clock. You know, the intensity, it really never let up. It just never let up. Completely relentless on the intensity. I made it all the way until August 30th. literally the day before my Suboxone appointment. And when I woke up that morning, guys, I was withdrawing hard, okay? I couldn't take it anymore. And so I ended up begging my mother for $20 more. And thankfully, she actually agreed and she gave me the $20. The first thing that I did was jump right into my car and I tried to give my guy a call, but guess what? The issue now was that since it was so early in the morning, they weren't open yet. These guys run off of business hours. It's very strict. The phone doesn't even turn on until they're open, until like it's that certain time. It's about 6:30, 5:30 in the morning. It's very early and they're not opening until about 7 or 8. I was shit out of luck until then. So I tried to call that girl, the one that I had met prior, you know, the day prior. And same thing, no answer, because obviously it's just too early in the morning. You know, I'm starting to realize it's just too early. No one's awake right now. And not to mention, people like this, people like her, this chick is never out of her dope. So I felt like, you know, there was no way she'd ever even be awake that early because she'd never be sick enough for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people just don't operate that way. This is where the story starts to get a little bit crazy, because I drive back to my dad's house, same thing, to go hit the carpet, do the carpet surfing, try to find anything I possibly could to get well with. And you know, when I get there, unfortunately, this place was pretty much mined out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had mined that place out. There was nothing left. But I did end up finding like some old foils, like from way back, that I was able to uncrumble somehow, flatten out, and actually take hits from the trails that were like left on there, and miraculously was able to like get some relief from just that, right? That room had nothing left in it. There was no possible thing left. I had found everything except for one thing, and that was this 8 milligram Subutex pill that somebody had given me a long time ago that I had held on to, you know, never really took it because obviously I'm scared of the precipitated withdrawals that had happened to me many times before prior. But at this point, you know, those 3 to 4 hits that I was able to take were wearing off very quickly, and I pretty much just said screw it. And so what I did, I went ahead, I grabbed that 8 milligram Subutex pill, I cut that pill into thirds. I cut it into 3 separate equal pieces. I took each third separately, just one by one. I was trying to take it slow, like, you know what I'm saying? I did not want to go into precipitated, and so I was trying to gauge how I was feeling, and so I did it one by one, slowly. And by that third piece, after I had let the third piece, you know, fully dissolve and everything like that, honestly, I felt nothing. I didn't feel anything. Noticed absolutely nothing. I actually started to think that maybe it was just a fake pill that somebody had given me, because, you know, I didn't feel any worse, but I also just didn't feel any better. By this point, enough time had finally passed to where all of the drug dealers are open, all the phones are on, you can call them, and so that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and I used that $20 that my mom gave me. I picked it up, you know, I met my dude and I picked up the $20 sack. I smoked that entire $20 bag right there in the parking lot, and to my surprise, I didn't feel a damn thing, because the Subutex that I had taken literally just an hour beforehand was already coating my opioid receptors and just not letting anything else through. It really was. It blocked it. It blocked the whole thing. I didn't feel anything. I fucking lost it, guys. I am not going to lie to you. I basically had a mental breakdown when this happened. I was hysterical at this point. I remember giving Cassie a call and I was pretty much in tears, just pleading to her, you know, wondering why, like, just, I'm so confused, like, I can't get high, like, you know what I mean, I'm stuck in withdrawal and I'm just miserable, why can't I feel good again? I smoked an entire dub to the face and nothing. And at this point, me and Cassie, we were just trying to figure out a way to resolve this. Thankfully, she was trying to help me out, and so we were gonna try to figure out a way to go ahead and get more, of course. And then, out of nowhere, literally just like a miracle, my friend Tyler calls me. This guy doesn't even live in Las Vegas. He actually ended up moving to California. He was calling me from California. However, I knew that he still used. He was still an active opioid addict, and I knew he was gonna understand the situation that I was in at the moment. And another thing, he also always had money. He always had money. So he ended up sending me 40 bucks straight to the Cash App, and I remember getting my cash card, going to the 7-Eleven. I withdrew the whole 40 bucks right then and there, got the 220s in my hand, and now me and Cassie were off to go to one of her friend's house because she was gonna help us get more. This friend that Cassie had was a girl, and she also had a baby, which she lived alone with and used around, unfortunately. And when we get there, we get the whole runaround about how she doesn't actually have anything with her or on her, that we gotta give her a ride to meet her connect. The first guy that we tried, one of hers, was a meth user, according to her. And so this dude was on total tweaker time, could not keep his shit together at all, and totally had us waiting for like an hour and a half, just sitting there in the heat. And during that hour and a half, her main dude finally ends up calling her back because we tried to get a hold of him first. He ends up finally calling back. We ditch this meth guy and we go straight to the main dude. We finally get our hands on a ½ gram for that 40 bucks. And at this point, since she helped me get it and all that, you know, with her connect, now I gotta break her off a piece. And so I was left with just about over 0.25 of a gram. The girl that we were with, she shot up. She used the needle, and so I figured that I would do the same thing because I wanted it to actually do something. That's exactly what I did. I start to cook myself up a shot. I load up the syringe and I put it in a vein. I get the register, you know, I see the blood come back and I bam, smash it in. And again, nothing. I wanted to literally throw myself out of the second floor window because of how I felt, and because of the fact that I couldn't pull myself out of it. I couldn't break through it. And after using all of the dope and getting absolutely nothing from it, all it did was make me want more and more and more. It's 4 p.m. now, and my Suboxone appointment is closing in. And that's when my straight up junkie mode kicks in, right? And I give my dad a call, and I give him some bullshit story about how my car battery is dead and that I needed a new one. I needed $80 to get a new one. Kinda hesitated, he did kinda hesitate, however, but he did send the 80 bucks, and so I ended up with another $80 cash in hand. As soon as I had that money, me and Cassie's friend, we were off to the dope dealer yet again. We end up with the full gram this time for the 80 bucks, and you know, by this point, I'm pretty much accepting the fact that I'm probably gonna be going into precipitated withdrawal tomorrow when I get to my sub appointment, just due to the fact of how much I've already been using. And so my junkie brain figured that if I just gave them half and I only did half, then I'd be doing exactly what the doctor said, right? And that's just a little bit. 7 p.m. rolls around and I'm finally high again. This will be the very last time that I ever feel a high from heroin. I get home that night, and of course, you know, my mom, she's like wondering where I've been. I end up giving her a BS story, and I tell her that, you know, I'm just ready to go to sleep. I'm exhausted. I've been going in and out of this withdrawal, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to go to bed. I just want to rest. I was exhausted, so I end up laying down and falling right to sleep that night. The next morning rolls around, and it's the day of my Suboxone appointment. And I'm sure you already know what that means, guys. Part 3 coming soon. Oh, shit. The end, everybody. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for the part 3 video. I'm gonna finish this one out. There's only gonna be one more part, so part 3 will be the very last one. If you watched this video until the very end, you are an OG subscriber, an OG viewer. Consider yourself that. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave some comments down below, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet already, and hit the post notification bell so that way you get notified of every single video when they drop. And check out some of the links down in the description. Join my Discord server, everybody. Thank you all for watching, and peace out.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the back like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma make, keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon.